All right, y'all. This your man, Success, man. We back in the studio, and as promised, man, I got my special guest with me, my man Jimmy of Elite Barber Supply and Studio in Sugar Land. Jimmy, what's up, my brother? How's it going?
Good, good. How you doing, man?
Man,
Thanks.
first off, I want to thank you for taking your time this evening to come out and share with me. I don't take this platform for granted, and I definitely respect everyone's time. So I want to just let you know how much I appreciate you coming out and sharing with us this evening. So,
Thank you so much, man. I'm grateful to be here and sharing, some knowledge.
all right, go ahead and tell the people about yourself.
So, my name is Jimmy. I'm 34 years old. I own a barber shop. I own a barber supply. I've been cutting hair for 14 years. Licensed, half of that. Been cutting hair really actually since I was 17. 3 years in my mom's garage. 2010, I hit a barber shop, and then maybe a few years in, I went to get my license. But I know you work for TDLR, and that's probably not the best thing to say, but I just want to be open about it, just want to speak the truth and speak facts.
Well, I appreciate your honesty and transparency, man. I don't wear that TDLR badge on my shoulder. I actually got involved with that mainly just so that I can know what's going on in the industry, because so many times as barbers, we're just uninformed. And it's funny you mentioned that, because TDLR just sent out an email about a week ago. They're actually looking for new blood on their review committee. So, I mean, I'd advise anybody who wants to stay abreast of what's actually happening in the industry. First thing you want to do is sign up for TDLR's mailing list, emailing list. That way, when anything's happening, they're going to send out alerts letting you know exactly what's going on, and then get involved, right? Like, if you want to know, we as barbers have more power than we know. And that power really comes in numbers. When you have barbers that are actually engaged in the process and they create numbers, they can then effectively drive the profession. That's how it works. But when you have barbers that are not involved in the process, that are not engaged, that don't know what's going on, well, then you're always gonna have situations where things are gonna happen and barbers are just reacting to it because they had no idea it was even happening. I didn't want to be one of those barbers. I wanted to be one of those barbers that knew what was going on in my industry, and if I thought there was something I could do about it, I want to do it. So that's how I got in that. So anybody who wants to, effectively be a part of the industry behind the scenes, because we do a lot of behind the scenes work. Anybody who wants to be a part of the industry behind the scenes of really affecting change in the industry, I'd say apply for that committee.
Probably will. Yeah, I know both spectrums of the barbering industry. The hood shops where unlicensed barbers are working, and they don't care. They really don't. They think they're above the law.
Let me ask you this, dude. It's funny you say that. What advice do you have for a young candidate, right? Because this is coming, as well as I do, right? We have these shops that will poach these kids, like you got these youngsters that are in school, but they're talented, right? But they're not licensed yet, and then you got a shop owner saying, "Hey, you can come work in my shop. You're in school, you can come work here." What advice do you have for that student?
Well, first of all, I would say finish school,
Okay.
get licensed, and then look at your opportunities. Are you really good? Because a lot of these shops are going to be commission-based shops, and that's totally fine. I love commission structure. Like, as a shop owner, I want to move towards commission, but these commission shops, they're going to milk you. They're going to put you to work from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you're going to have 1 hour lunch break, but you're going to be taking home money. Now, if you're talented, if you know how to build your own clientele, if you know how to market yourself, if you don't need a shop to provide you with clients, look into getting a suite or get into booth rental shop that can take care of you as well, because there's some booth rental shops that they really don't care about you, and all they want is their weekly rent. And if you really do need a client, go commission. Get under somebody. I know this guy named Vinny. Shout out to Vinny. He owns a barbershop in Spring, Texas. They generate 1.7 million this past year.
Oh wow!
So his barbers are making $2,000 a week.
Okay.
on commission.
Commission based.
Commission based.
So Jimmy eating good.
Yeah. So Vinny's like,
Yeah.
pushing marketing, but because of commission, he has money for marketing, and then his barbers are eating, and they agree for that.
Okay.
And that's fine if you go under good mentorship like him. Like, hey, you're gonna eat, and he's gonna take care of you, and he's gonna teach you.
I'd like to meet Vinny.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to him very soon.
Okay.
And then you can have other shop owners, booth rent there. You're gonna pay $150, but you're gonna be not in a good area. Maybe walking traffic's not that good, and the type of clients that you're gonna be getting is probably not where you want to go. So
talk a little bit more about that. So all right, you got commission based, right? If you get into good business and see what I heard from that is that Vinny's a good businessman. And so because he's a good businessman, he was able to build a good business that all of his barbers are doing well under. But you and I both know that that's not the common practice in our industry. You've been in it long enough to know that that's the exception. That's not the rule, right? Most of these shops aren't ran that tight, right? Most of these shops have, like you said, they may be in undesirable areas. And so what would you say to that student though who's fresh out of school, right? And he's looking for a shop to go to. What does he need to consider when he's trying to find that right shop?
Sometimes you got to interview the shop owner as well. It sounds weird. Even as a shop owner, I want them to ask me questions when I'm hiring people or I'm interviewing them. For them to even rent a booth with me, I want to know where they come from, who they are, what are their goals. And ask barbershop owners, ask them like, hey, what are your goals? What can you provide for me, right? And because I can bring work ethic as a barber, I can bring work ethic, I can do this, but as a shop owner, are you going to bring a good atmosphere? Can you bring in a good clients, or you don't care? Are you going to let barbers play rap music with curse words on the stereo? Are you going to let barbers come in smelling like weed? Are you going to let barbers, have a couple beers after hours or right before we close? I've been there when barbers are coming in with 12 packs. Their clients are coming in with 12 packs. Barbers walking in smelling like weed. Licensed barbershops.
Yeah. And
licensed barbers doing this. And, it's cool and all. And booth rent's only 100, 150 maybe. But now that's going to stop you as a barber to make more money and to reach the clients that you want. The clients that are willing to tip you. If the service is $60 and they tip you $20, that's $80. And your booth rent's $250 maybe in a nice area, but two clients you could be making $160, $200. But in the hood, in a shop like that, you're not going to be getting clients that are going to be willing to pay you $60 kind of money and then tip you $20. But it's up to you. Do you want to have fun? Because I was there at one point where I was maybe early 20s. I was at a shop. I had fun. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, guys would come in with 12 packs and, we would drink and we would have fun. We would cut hair. We would close the shop at 1 a.m. And I'm still making money. I'm still cutting at 1 a.m. maybe. But that's not professional.
That barber life.
But that's not professional. And I never, if I would have stayed in that lifestyle, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't own a business. I wouldn't known, pretty much have the net worth that I have now. I own a home, like, I have freedom, financial freedom I could do whatever I want.
So I heard you say that you were once in the shop like that and you had to transition over to professionalism and professional area, etc. Tell me, what was it that clicked in your mind that made you see that change was necessary, and how is it that you went about making that change? Because you may have a young guy out there in that situation right now thinking just like you were, like, this is fun, but I want to grow. So what was it? How did you make that transition?
So a lot of times in the hood as a barber, you cold, you got an ego. So like people want to sit in my chair. Like, you want this cut. You want to get this cut because I'm fresh, because I'm cold. You want it. And you don't stop to think about customer service, right? I had this millionaire that used to come in. He used to pull up in a C63 AMG back in the day to my shop, to the shop that I worked at. And he used to pay me $50 during the time haircuts were $20. And that was expensive. So he was giving me $50 every week for a haircut. But he would walk in, all suit, and he was like, hey, could you hold my coffee? Could you charge my phone? I was like, man, who the heck this dude thinks he is, right? Like, yo, like, chill. But then I realized that people with money, people that are willing to pay you, are looking for that experience, are looking for that, that little
High level
extra.
of service.
Yeah. So finally, I kind of came across a little bit of money, and I ended up going to a nice restaurant, and the tab was a little high, but I love the service. They were like, "Sir, what can I get you? Hey, your drink's almost empty." Even before my drink got empty, they refilled it. They were constantly checking on me. They were making sure that I was okay. And when I paid that tab, yeah, it was a lot, but I was like, "Yo, this was worth it." So then I realized if I can treat my business like this restaurant treats their business, have a clean area, have a good atmosphere, have some low jazz, and then maybe put a hot towel, a little massage on it, have a client experience, they probably will pay more. And it started happening. I started putting in like the hot towels on the face. I started doing little massages. I started, not playing, rap music, or in the Mexicans they play corridos, which is like trap almost.
Okay.
And so I started playing low jazz, started having those little, more with atmosphere. People started liking it. People started tipping, and of course that wasn't just it, but I shared my testimony with you about coming to Jesus Christ, and when it says He transforms you, so I stopped liking the drink, I didn't when I was in the hood, like they were drinking, I didn't feel comfortable there anymore. I was like, I don't belong here anymore. This is not who I am. I don't like this anymore. He really changes you. So what I used to love, I was like, man, I used to, sit there and drink. Now there was a friction between my spirit, my soul. I didn't want to be there.
Come on.
So I was like, no. So then I wanted to move away from that. But then God started really moving into me being more professional, me not liking the things of the world or what Satan can offer us. And it was maybe about a year or two transition that it was God was just really grinding me but man, glory to Him, because man, I would never imagine making six figures as a barber.
Come on.
Being worth, I don't want to say,
But
I just want to let these young men know that
the opportunity is there.
Yeah,
the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit.
It's an amazing industry. What I heard was, this is what I heard from your story, is that once you realize the importance of delivering a higher level of customer service, and customer service is a broad statement. It's not just the haircut and the finished look. It's the entire experience that client has when they're in your environment. From the time they walk in the door, not just the time they sit in the chair, but everything about that environment, everything about that shop, everything about the room, the ambiance, the people, the vibe, the conversation. It's all professional. It's all high-level professional. It's all engaging. It's all inclusive. Everyone's comfortable. Everyone feels good in this environment. And so if you can put yourself in an environment like that, you stand to do well in this industry. Did I hear that right?
Yes, sir. And we still allow space at our shop to have fun. Different type of fun. Not. I'm not as uptight. I do tell my barbers, hey, make sure everyone's greeted, because when I walk into a restaurant or when I walk into any type of business, if I'm just sitting there and nobody's saying hi to me, it's like this.
Yeah, you gotta feel welcome. I definitely agree with that.
So greet them. In a hood shop, they just kind of look at you like, hey, you got an appointment? Like, nah. It's like, hey, how you doing, sir? Do you have an appointment? How can we help you? Or you're walking, we'll take care of you. We have a water, we have sodas. Would you like some coffee? And when they sit down, we have music, no curse words. Sometimes we have movies, sometimes we have jazz. The atmosphere is different. And I actually play a lot of worship at my barbershop, and a lot of people are like, they fall asleep in the chair. They're like, man, I love the piece here. They get hot towel shaves, they knock out, and they're just like, boom.
That's what's up. Amen. All glory to God. I'm definitely a spiritual individual, man. I definitely respect your journey and your acknowledgement of your personal Lord and Savior. We share that belief, and so Jesus is always welcome on my platform. So I'm thankful for you, my brother, that you were able to be delivered to a place that has made you a better individual, because that's what it's all about to me. And as barbers, as people, we're blessed to bless others.
Amen.
Right? And if you've been blessed to be in this industry and have a measure of success in this industry, it's only right to pass along that experience so that those individuals coming behind us can learn from that, and then they can also benefit from your experience and apply that to their own careers. And so that's what this platform is all about. And that's why, once again, I thank you for joining me and sharing your experience with us. All right, people, we're going to hold that thought there. We're going to take us a break, and we're going to come back with my man Jimmy, man, live from the Elite Barber Supply and Salon in Sugar Land, Texas. Your man Success Talk. All right, y'all. It's your man Steve, man. We back in here. I got my man Jimmy, Elite Barber Supply in Parlor in Sugar Land, Texas, man. And we were just having a great conversation during the break, man. We were talking about the ability of candidates to pass the exams, the written exam. And, you know, I was sharing with him that, you know, my insight from working with TDLR is what has made me as effective as I am with preparing candidates. I don't know if you noticed. Take a guess, Jimmy. What do you think the pass rate is here in the state of Texas for barbers taking the exam for the first time?
Written or practical?
Written. Practical. You can train a monkey to pass the practical. It's the written exam that's the real hurdle.
You know, I have a lot of barber students that reach out to me that want to work for me, and they're like, hey, I'm done with my hours. I just got to take my written. So I'm like, okay, let me interview you, but we'll wait till you pass your written and your practical, and then we'll start working a little bit more.
Okay.
So they come in, I mentor them, I show them how to cut, you know, after hours, like within my chair. And all the time that, man, I couldn't pass my practical. My written 3 times in a row. So I'm guessing, I'm going to take a wild guess. 10 to 20%.
It's not that low.
Oh, okay.
It's not that,
Okay. What is it?
Okay, so this past year was 48%.
Okay, that's not...
But now, here's what you got to know, man. I've been working with exam review here in Texas for about 15 years now. The highest I've ever seen it for first-time candidates was about 52%. Our students struggle. Our candidates in Texas struggle with written exams, and my belief is that it's because their instructors aren't really sure where to guide them to prepare for the exam. It's this mythical belief in our industry that, oh, if you, like, there's this, one of my students asked me just recently, it was like, hey, this guy told me he has the test questions, right? If I just study this, I'll be ready for the test, right? Well, let me just go and educate you. It does not work like that. If you take the exam 10 times, guess what? You're going to get 10 different exams. Yes, your exam comes from a test bank. Every subject that you test, every topic that's on your exam, there is a bank of questions on each one of those topics. And when you go in, that bank is going to throw those random questions at you, so that when you go back, the bank already know what questions you got the first time. They're not going to send you the same questions. And when I tell you it's a scientific process, it is. And so the test is designed so that you can't do that. See, yeah, that worked back when I got my license. That was a long time ago. Yeah, because then you had a committee giving you a pencil and paper exam. So they had copies floating around. Yeah, that's not the case anymore. This is all done. Oh, yes. On the computer. It's you in the computer screen. You have to lock your phone in a locker. It's no cheating. They're watching you on camera. Like, they're serious about this exam. Because here's the thought process of the state. If anybody can walk in off the street and pass this exam, why do we have licensing? Right? Sorry. Like, you're going to have some knowledge of content. And just to kind of give you instructors some insight, ask yourself this question. Let's see if this helps you in preparing your student. Because this is a question that's asked when it comes to exam development. If you are because you got to realize we only get 1,000 hours worth of training now, right? And so if you're a first day barber in the barbershop, right, it stands to reason you only have 1,000 hours worth of training, because not everyone taught themselves how to cut in their garage. Some guys really learn in school. And so I've only got 1,000 hours worth of training. What do I absolutely positively need to know to be safe, effective, minimally competent, working behind that chair in only 1,000 hours? And that's the content you're going to be tested on. So, for example, tell me one thing that you think a barber absolutely positively needs to know before he ever cuts a client.
Sanitation, for sure.
Stands to reason why that's the biggest portion of the exam. Right? Makes sense? That's why sanitation, infection control alone is 30% of the exam, because it's that important. Shaving is the next biggest chunk, right? Because you're using a straight razor. You're gonna need to know how to execute that straight razor safely. And so, yeah, they're gonna test you on the techniques of using that safely. Because what students, candidates don't realize is that your state exam is not about how well you cut hair. It's a safety assessment.
Yeah.
It's how safe you cut hair, not how well you cut hair. They don't care about your ability to
They don't
fade.
care
Yeah,
how
of
blurry
course,
you are.
they want to see some blend and balance in your cut. But more importantly, they want to see if you can palm your shears and not stick your client while you're cutting his hair. You see? So once they understand that, then you're training from that perspective. Now you're more prepared. Same thing with the questioning. You're going to be questioned on the basics that apply to what you do, not necessarily all of the advanced stuff that instructors like to focus on. And one thing I've noticed about instructors in our industry is that they themselves are undereducated. I know this because I give opportunity to a lot of instructors and barbers. Well, there's no longer an instructor. It's just Class A barber now in Texas. And a lot of our barbers didn't know that. If you're a Class A barber in the state of Texas, you can teach Class A barbering at the barber college now. There's no such thing as an instructor license anymore. All of our instructor licenses will revert back to a Class A barber license once it's renewed after this year. And so, well, actually that happened a couple years ago. So all renewals are Class A now. There's no longer instructor on either side. Well, these instructors, they go into these schools and they teach what they know. They teach what their instructor told them. They teach what they hear, right? Very few actually research, learn, and grow their own skill set, their own, knowledge bank in order to be able to teach. They're comfortable at what they know, and that's all they teach. And that's not enough to get you past the exam, because you were teaching them how to shave on a balloon, right? Boy, they love to go to that balloon. They love that balloon class. You're not shaving balloons in the shop. You're not shaving balloons in the shop. And another one that I love, to bust, and you hear people say it all the time. I heard a guy, he has a huge following, and he asked a question. He was like, do you know how to perform the 14-stroke shave? Well, there aren't 14 strokes in the shave. There's 14 areas on the face that we shave. But there's 4 positions and strokes that we execute with our straight razor. And we only use 3 of them in a facial shave. You see? And so that's why so many barbers, if you walk into the barber shop, how many strokes in the shave? They're going to tell you 14. That's wrong.
14 areas.
It's 14 areas. There's 4 positions and strokes, and we only use 3 in a face shave. You see? And so that's content that they don't dig into and differentiate for their students. And that's where the void be. Because they'll definitely, I'm pretty sure there's a question on the exam like that. And I'm pretty sure 14 is going to be one of those answer choices.
And they're going to go for it.
There you go.
You're gonna eat the bait.
And so my advice to the instructors, get back in your book. Get your content knowledge bank up. Because and stick to the script. When you're teaching, when you're giving information to students, make sure that information comes directly from the textbook. Because the test is referenced in the textbook. There's no question on the exam that cannot be referenced from the textbook. So if it's not in the textbook, it's useless information. You only got 1,000 hours to fill their heads. And so you need to put the useful information in there in the time that you have. And that useful information is the information from the textbook.
Man, I'm so grateful to be able to meet you because, I get barbers, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I get so many barbers that come to me and they're like, they want to work for me because of our social media presence, or, we're cool, or we charge a lot of money in Sugarland, and are like, hey, I'm done with my hours. I just need to take my written. And we literally have students and people in my barbershop. We have a little picnic table outside with questions, studying, trying to pass, and we help these kids. We help them. We mentor them. We show them how to cut, and they go and take their test. Like, I failed, and I'm like, and then 3 times, and we're sitting here with these cheat sheets that are given by these schools, and they can't pass, and I'm like, wow, it's so crazy, because then I have two spectrums of barbers that reach out to me. Hey man, I'm cold, I got clients, I charge this much money, and I'm booked out, but I don't have a license. I'm like, man, sorry, can't work with you. Another one's like, hey, I'm about to get my license, but I can't pass my written. Another one's like, I have my license, but I don't know how to cut, and I don't have clients. And I'm like, bro, it's so hard to hire barbers. It's so hard to find good barbers that you don't have to baby. And I literally have to baby a lot of people.
Tell you what, man, for your barbers that are having trouble with the state exams, man, send them to my platform, Stephen Farrell 3765 on YouTube. I don't have a lot of content up. I've been busy over the last year building my campus, but I've taken the time to put some stuff up to help, some basic stuff. There's some theory stuff. I've got the entire practical exam in a playlist on that platform, but I've also got some theory stuff. The areas that students tend to struggle the most are going to be chemical texture services. I've got some theory stuff on chemical texture service. It's lecture, so if they use a notepad, listen to it carefully. I've got some text in there to help you know what I'm saying. Copy the text that I'm giving you. I'm sure it'll help them prepare for those written exams.
And I think these kids are just wanting to write questions that are given to them with a cheat sheet, and then they plan on answering in the test. And like you said, it's a bank. It's different. And I've definitely been to different barber schools. Why? I sell supplies. 2, I've ran 2 barbershops in Sharpstown. I managed a barbershop on 59 in Gesner. I've owned, the Elite Barber probably has had 2 locations, a small one, now our big one, we just transitioned. I don't have 2 locations, I have 1. And then I've also helped open up 2 other barbershops, one in 2012, one in 2015. So I have gone to barber schools to reach for students that are almost done as potential candidates. And all they do is go in, clock in, and sit in a classroom and do nothing. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Wow. They
come in, all I gotta do is be here with my hours. I don't even want to cut. They don't even bring their stuff. I'm just here clocking hours. For most of these students in these barber schools, I'm not gonna say names. Some of them charge $20,000 for tuition, and all they do is clock in, clock out. I read. They log me in a room. They make me read my book for 30 minutes to an hour, but they're not really teaching me. They're forcing me to read an hour in the morning, but they're not checking in on me and my learning. Just clock in. They care about those 20 grand. I clock in, I clock out. I'm done with my hours. They give me a cheat sheet. Go take your test. They kind of help you with the practical, but it's kind of like, all right, you already paid me $20,000. I got my money. Here's a cheat sheet. I kind of showed you the practical. You're on your own. And
wow.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
Wow. Well, that's the reason why our pass rate is what it is. It's also why I do what I do, with the passion that I do it with. I have, I don't knock anyone. I don't call out anyone for their deficiencies. I simply try to control what I can do.
For sure.
And so I want to make sure that, because we've got an industry full of what you just said, and you know it, I know it, and most those of us, we know that, right? And so that's why I'm thankful for guys like yourself who's doing it the right way and who's trying to show the younger barbers how to do it the right way. I appreciate you, man. I want to let you know you've always welcome to come in and share with my students. We need more people that are actually putting good out in a world where we got so much of that, right? Like
Yeah.
these schools they're just cashing in on these students, man. And these students don't know any better by the time they realize what they've gotten themselves into because these schools, just so y'all know, students, be mindful. These schools will hit you with the bait and switch. They will sell you a glamorous program that has all of this and that. And once you're signing up, they're doing all that they can to make sure that you realize that their program is a top-notch program, and they're going to provide you with this type of training and that type of training and the highest level. And then once you get in there, it's like Jimmy say, man, they got you hitting the clock, sitting down, twiddling your thumbs, giving you information, telling you, here, read this, here, do this, here, random test bank test. I've seen that done too, Jimmy. I won't call any schools out. But we definitely need more people that are committed to the training and development of our young barbers as opposed to just cashing in on them. And so, man, once again, I appreciate you, man. Before we get out of here, man, let everybody know how they can get at you.
So on Instagram, my personal one is Jimmy Elite Barber. Our barbershop is Elite Barber Parlor TX, and our supply is Elite Barber Supply _HTX. We're 14015 Southwest Freeway. We have the barbershop and the supply in the same building. And before we finish, I do this and I want to pour into the students because I never had a mentor. I never had somebody tell me, hey, if you get your license, if you go to school and you act professional, this is where you can be. But because I hit the road running, I never had nobody. I was really good at what I did right off the bat out of my mom's garage. So I had barbers pulling me here in the hood, said, man, come on, man, you cold, man, come on, let's do this, And I never had anybody say, hey, get your license, act professional, you can be here. But they keep you here because it's a
benefits
norm.
them.
It benefits them.
Yeah.
And I never had a mentor. So if I could help any young man, like to tell them, hey, this here is not it. There's more to it, to this industry. There's, business, entrepreneurship, and, content, like education. There's so much more, but we dumb it down, and that's why sometimes barbers are not treated, with respect.
Well, man, listen, I want to once again thank you so much, man, for taking out your time to come and share with us. I don't take these moments for granted, man. It's my hope that someone on the other end of our voices heard something that transforms you, that's going to make you a better barber. That's what this platform is all about. Not just a better barber, but a better person. And so that translates into a better life for you. That's what this is all about, success. And so, man, as we leave out of this evening, man, I want to thank God, my personal Lord and Savior, man. I appreciate you acknowledging, the power of God in your own personal life. We can never take that for granted. Be guided, man, by that higher power that influences you to just make good choices, just be a better person day in and day out. And you'll see the benefit of that in your daily life and in your results, man. So as we get out of here, once again, man, I want to thank my man Jimmy, the Elite Barber in Sugar Land, Texas. Give him the address again.
14015 Southwest Freeway, Suite 12.
All right, get at my man for your supplies, and you can also get at my man for top-notch services, all right? So until next week, man, this your man, Success the Educator. Remember, my success, your success is my success. Therefore, what you accomplish, let me start that off. Your man, Success the Educator. I measure my success not by what I accomplish, but by what I help you to accomplish. Therefore, your success is my success. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Till next time, man, it's your man, Success the Educator.